Good morning, good evening, brothers and sisters. Today I'm joined by Sister Zama for tonight's topic. Before we dive into the topic, I would like us to first pray. So I will ask Brother Bako from Gladbury District, ukuba asithandazele. Over to you, Brother Bako.
Awathu namandla onke isenkosi ethu Jesu Kristu usekuseni nasemini nasebusuku uye wangu Thixo wethu Thixo wamandla onke ebudeni bosuku ebesiqala ukuliphila Thixo wamongcwele uye wasithwala wanguThixo wathembeka kuthi sibulele kakhulu ke moya ingcelo ba uye wathembeka kuthi sesikathembekanga ke thina Thixo wamolungileyo. Xa inkosi siqala le program engumsebenzi wakho nokuphuhlisa Thixo wethu namandla impilo yomuntu omtsha kwilizwe lase-Afrika iba khona njengoThixo ugcwala apha kuze inkosi umsebenzi lo wonke wenziwe Inkosi ngamandla akho Inkosi ngentetha ezahlukileyo
Brother Bako. Thank you so much to Brother Bako for umthandazo, even though singakhange sive Bako kakuhle umthandazo wakho, but we hope that the prayer that is going to strengthen Sisama through I topic yakhe namhlanje. So Sisama, hi, ndicela ukukunika elithuba to greet viewers zethu namhlanje.
Molweni bethanana ndibusa nonke ngegama elihlelo Yesu Kristu umpheli nomvukeli wethu. Ms Z Mhlamanzana, and I was approached for the topic, I think based on the initial interview I had with Fair Lady talking about the same topic. So I just would like to say, Uti, I hope you guys would bear with me. and also understand ukuthi, what I'm about to say here today, it's based on my opinion and my experience in the topic. So if you agree, you may not agree, but at least I think I'm here to say what I need to say, or rather what I feel about the topic and what I've experienced about the topic. And then we move on from there.
Thank you, Sama. And I think it's very important into yoba uyikhankanye into ethi, this is based on your topic.
Yes.
So, I mean, this is based on your opinion. So, for it was uba nazo mazikwazi to share their experiences, you know, and also mhlambi bazame to take some advice from what you have been through, okanye the way that wena udila ngayo nale topic. So the topic for today is single parenting in our generation. And I really think, Nyani, this is something that we need about Sistama, because if we are kapela, there is a high rate of single parents, especially when it comes to our generation. Yabo. So I'm really interested, Ugubana, what you have for us today. So without wasting any time, Mantinigele Goesiswam.
Okay, so basically, when it comes to being a single mom, I have an opinion, Yoguti. No one ever plans to be, unless you decide, Yoguti, you're gonna go and be a single mom. But most of us who have been in certain relationships, and then you end up with Manumdana, and then in a long relationship, and then you pele uba a single mom. There's a point whereby you feel guti you can't do this anymore. Okanye you feel guti awunayo ilento support. And I personally feel like in those days when you think it was into, that's when you find guti uba lost for strength, ungayazi ukuthi mawuthini, financially, emotionally, and physically. Being a single parent iyakudraina. And in my opinion, I've got intuitive. I know some people, but being a single parent, if you are not a single parent, if the second parent, which could be a mom or a father, is supporting the child. But in my opinion, I feel like you still are, because remember, being a single parent does not mean Guti, just because the second parent is taking out the money or whatever. It merely means Guti, majority of the time, you're the one that has to make decisions about Lomdwan. You're the one that has to do majority of the time, you're the one that has to do more, because and therefore it becomes strenuous schoolwork. It becomes emotionally, I think for Rimna, it was more emotionally draining than it was even financially, because like for instance, now I've got a 5-year-old. And you have to pick a spot, you have to pick Ilando is all for Umdana. And at that stage, that's when you find yourself, you're alone here. You have to make this decision whether you're capable to or you're able to, no choice, you just have to do it. And I'm not sure if when I understand what you think, but I'm not sure if you're even a parent, but in my opinion is that can emotionally and physically drain you financially. And yes, I'm not disputing financially is important, but you have to first prepare yourself emotionally when you are a single parent. Now I ended up even having to go for therapy because I couldn't do it. I couldn't get to terms with the fact that this is what I am, because obviously I never planned for it. But I think the youngsters, Otina, we fail to understand any little help selding, either from your parents or from the parents of the other parent of the other your past partner or whatever. You need accept that they're willing to give to you, because you are not merely just doing that for wena isiqu sakho, but you're also doing it for umntana lona wakho. Because at the end of the day, any decision that we make as parents, it's going to izoba khona nakubantwana bethu, even if it's good or even if ayikho good, we have to acknowledge the fact that it's a decision that we're not just making for us, but for them. So you unmute. I don't know if it's my connection or what's going on.
I'm here, sister. I'm here.
Oh. It keeps on freezing. I don't know if it's my connection or.
No, I think you can carry on.
Okay, and another thing that I wanted to just raise when it comes to being a single parent is, let's talk about financially. You know, sometimes it doesn't matter whether uyaphangela okanye awuphangeli, but initially there's something in terms of finance that will cause you ukuthi ufeel ukuthi awukwazi uyenza into ethile. Now I'm going to talk about myself. By the time I was a single mom, I was working, but because I've got so many other responsibilities under a bracket, yomvuzo wam, I then started feeling guilty. Hey, I can't do this. And with that said, what Tina siyoyikayo, because sine into ekuthiwa abazothini, abantu bazothini syndrome. Siyoyika ukuthi siyenze decisions that will suit us, because siyoyika abantu bazothini. I was one of those people ukuthi before benomntana, I was like, angekho umuntu uzosokola mama musokolile nam, and so on and so forth. I stayed with my child for 3 years, and after that I felt it is draining, because remember, I am in Cape Town. Cape Town is expensive, rental, you want to stay where you want to stay, up a comfortable corner, go safe corner. You want to take your child to the best schools. You want to ukwenza izinto for umntana wakho that you feel ukuthi zikule level ofuna zibe abe kuyo umntana wakho. So that's when I actually made a decision ukuthi you know what, let me stop being stubborn, because ngoku I am struggling, and I'm going to make umntana struggle. So this is what I'm talking about when it comes to having to make exact decisions, because at the end of the day, I was umntana. So umntana moved to, in fact, I moved with my child to East London, and then I moved back to Cape Town. And literally, I'm not even lying to you, as much as it's draining, especially when you're so used to staying with umntana. It feels better to see umntana happy, to see umntana going to actually good schools, because they're much more affordable rather than where you're currently at. To see ukuthi umntana is not just a blessing kuwe, but rather to the people that ahlala nabo as well. Now what I do is I go home every month for like a week or two. Yes, it's financially killer financially, but because it's cheaper for me to go home and be at home, because obviously we're working from home at the moment since COVID, but it's cheaper to go home every month for a week or two, rather than having to bring umntana here and having to struggle with him. Angabinayo la comfortability anayo in East London. Angabinayo la attention ayifumanayo at the time apho ahlala khona nomama. And it's not to say ukuthi you don't want to stay with umntana okanye whatever. It's merely just saying you're making this tough decision because you think umntana needs to be comfortable. And eventually, when your financial status iba better, then that's when you you will end up having to change plans and do things ngohlobo ofuna ngalo wena without having to have uyandisa mhlambe sithi you I don't think it's right that umntana wakho ezohlala nomama. Guys, we don't know irresponsibilities zethu. We don't know ukuthi uzama okanye uyandisa ugowa through ntoni na apho enye into inoba better for yena. So I think another thing is that we need to stop having the abantu bazothini syndrome, because that thing is what is killing us as single parents, because sinalendity just because ubani yena can do it. Asimazi mosiyena bangaba first of all enamalini, asiyazi ba support sakhe sisukaphi, asiyazi ukuthi usupportwa njani uthi nami ndizoyenza ngola hlobo. No, get yourself comfortable. Get yourself comfortable as a person. Get yourself in a situation whereby you know ukuthi awuzulalulila every day just because umntana wakho umfundisa kwesikole obungafuna umfundisa kuyo ngenxani ye-finance okanye you have to be at work and you can't be at work because kaloku ngoku uzibeke kule position yokuthi mna I can do anything. We need to understand that ezinye izinto they are beyond our control. Therefore, uncedo that comes from anyone that can help us, be it a family or whatever, we need to just take it.
Okay, usaqhubeka ne?
But I think it's a bit for him now. It's a bit weird for me to just carry on speaking without it. Maybe when having your input as to what else you would want me to touch into, you know. So I think I'm sure now you've got pointers or questions that you'd want me to punt on or rather to touch on.
Okay. No, it's fine. So if you're giving me the permission, then it's fine. I'll do that. Okay. Yeah, I think you've mentioned into therapy when you were speaking earlier. And I just wanted to know, why do you think when therapy is important to us as single parents? And yes, I do have a child. Yeah, so I understand yonke lento ithethayo. And then my second question, lento of spending more time with your child, even though ungahlali naye mhlawumbe, yabo. How do you think that has an impact on the relationship of a mother or a father nomntwana wakhe if you spend more time with your child? Because I know it does have impact emntwaneni for you not to live with them. So why is it important now you create you keep that relationship stable? Having to go and feel safer with other people other than the actual parent.
Okay. Okay, to answer your first question, therapy. I think therapy is very important because as human beings, we don't tend to deal with izinto ngexesha elifanelekileyo nangendlela efanelekileyo. We can't run away from the fact that sometimes the second person, it may not have to be a therapist, but it may be you, Yandi Suguti. You will listen to me and you will show me a different view about the situation that I'm currently going on. The reason I went to therapy, like I said initially, we don't plan to be single parents, never wanted to be a single parent. Anyone and everyone that knows me knows that that was the one thing that I never wanted to be, and I actually tried by all means throughout my teen years into my 20s, but unfortunately, because and we planned, but I ended up where I'm at. So I needed someone to guide me through the pain, because I was in pain at the time. I was in pain of having to realize now I have to do this alone. I remember, I think I mentioned earlier on, I remember when my child started going to school where now you don't just color in, you have to do sports, you have to plan for the next year when they go to big people's school. Now I had to make decisions as to what sport does this child need to play. I need to make that decision alone. So when we have to apply for schools, I needed to make that decision. When the child is sick, I needed to step up. Not to say that maybe the other parent is MIA, but just to say when you stay with the child, or when your parent stays with your child, you are the person that is mostly going to be involved than the second parent who doesn't stay with the child, or whom his parents does not stay with the child. So I needed to accept that. I went to therapy because I needed to accept that there was nothing wrong with me and being a single parent, and there was nothing wrong with being a single parent. And also, what steps did I need to take in order for me to be stronger and be able to accept the fact that, Gogo, this is where I'm at, and how am I going to maneuver my way within this situation? How am I going to control imali? Because remember, finance as well. How am I going to feel how am I going to do when I feel like crying? But remember, you can't be crying in front of your child, because you need to remember, they need to, I know abantu don't agree with this, but I feel, if I'm sad and if I'm crying, then, and my child sees that, it makes them feel a certain way. The reason I'm saying this is because you see sometimes as Golwen, they will write back and say, hey, umntana hasn't been okay. But if you look back, you look and you see all these times that this child has seen you cry, or has seen you going through the most, as much as they're not saying anything, but they feel it. Abantwana always saying it, abantwana zisibhanji. If you see isibhanji usifake emanzini siyabutha amanzi, usilanda usqueeze siyawakhupha amanzi. Umntana, anything they see and anything they hear, they take it. Be it right, be it wrong, be it it's toxic to them, be it it's emotional draining to them, but they just take it. So for me, having to go to therapy, it was great help. And I always say, Nditi, I'm sorry if most people are going to take offense to this. We're so scared to go to therapy. We're so scared because the time you go to therapy, you're mentally disturbed. Going to therapy does not mean you're mentally disturbed. Going to therapy means you have now realized that you've got a problem and you need someone that's going to guide you through this problem. It can be an issue or whatever it is. So I strongly believe therapy helped me emotionally to a point whereby, I don't go off as often anymore. I just go every now and again, but it helped me have to as much as I can afford this child, but emotionally it still kills me that every time I go we parents meeting, you alone, because remember, and that's what you want to see. You want to have that family thing. And you wish to have that when family ukhulise umntana wakho wena no tata umntana okanye utata umntana no mama yakhe. So therapy really does help. And also, just to answer your second question, having to spend time with umntana, it's very important. Every time abantu basoke bathi kumzamo uyakuthanda ugoduka, zama unemali, you always going home, anayo imali, but I believe that you have to spend time with umntana. It doesn't matter if I'm sending mali pizza every Friday, mali pie every Friday. That money is not the same as if you were actually working with that child and you're eating pizza no to. Now always saying I'd rather see my money spend your buka ilenduka iflight rather than kweli bus okanye lift, rather than for me bana ndihlale ndithenge ichips nditye ndodwa apha endlini ndithenge ukutya takeaways, because not being around umntana, like you said, umntana ends up finding comfort kwabanye abantu, obviously kwaba bantu ahlala nabo, ne? And when you think that you are doing the right thing, you're sending money and umntana is doing this, umntana is doing that, umntana is covered there, but time spent with umntana is very, very important. You also learn that child, because remember, if from birth, you don't know that child. Inimba isuka from birth, but inimba also has to be nurtured. Inimba has to be nurtured to a point you learn lomdana learns you as a parent, and to a point that no one would actually really know ukuthi anihlali awuhlali nomntana wakho, umntana uhlala nomnye umuntu. So not spending time with umntana also kills umntana emotionally, because at the end of the day, anything and everything that you say as a parent, also it as if I see into, because kaloku udla ngohlala nomakhulu okanye udla ngohlala nobani na, so umamela kwabo bantu rather than umamela kuwe. Yeah, so that's my personal opinion about time spending in therapy. I think it's very important to like not to necessarily but to spend time. Even for fathers, I always say to my brothers, Nditi, even if you don't stay with umntana, obviously umntana kuhlala kulo mama, but make time, a simple Saturday or Sunday, just to go out with that child, so that umntana akwazi and akwazi nokuthetha ngawe sometimes, because badala mos abantwana bethu, I feel like sizobazala sebe nawo namazinyo, the things that they say, the things that they pick up. So it's very important to ukuthi uhambe and visit your child as often as possible, so that uzokwazi ukumazi umntana wakho nomntana wakho akwazi. I'm not sure if I make sense.
Yes, I think most of the times we share the same sentiments. So I'm trying to check on our Facebook page if there aren't any questions yet, but we don't have any questions yet. So I think I think in fact, I am in this situation where umntanam ehlala ekhaya and mina ndihlala kwenye indawo apho ndiphangela khona ne. And I remember when she was young, it used to kill me when I have to leave, yabo, because it means mandizimele, or if I leave in front of her, that you will hear up until uyofika kule ndawo ukuyo, yabo. So I think that also then affects the child emotionally, yabo. So mhlawumbi, can you share your experiences, how do you deal with making sure that umntana is comfortable to talk to you about anything? Yabo, I know my project, because my daughter is 9 years old, me. So ndikale into ngoku ethi, okay, let me buy her a diary. Yeah, but so then she can be able to jot down her emotions on a daily basis. And that for me is comforting, because at least when I get home, I'm then able to, go through the diary, what she goes through. And now you're comfortable to say, Nansi mami diary, this is how I've been feeling lately and stuff, because usually, the way even Tina that we parent, we end up being aggressive to children, that they end up not being able to talk to us as their parents. Yabo. So now share your experiences when it comes to emotions zabantwana, and how we can then better go away to what they go to be.
Oh, sorry, you froze there for a second, but I think I got the gist of what you were saying. So my son is 5 years old. I mean, your project is amazing in terms of having to do that, and we're seeing Ntombazana, so it's amazing, and it's obviously something that people can take note of. My son is 5 years old, and I always say, it's hard, it's painful to leave umdana, but sukumzimela, because the moment umzimela, they will get used to that. Every time ungathi awukho endlini, they'll think umama umkile, you know. So now what I usually do is I let my child know when I'm going to leave. So if I'm leaving on Monday, the week before, I'm preparing him, I'm going to leave. What do you want me to bring for you? What do you want us to do before Ndiambe? Remember, I stay in this place because of A, B, and Z. I'm working so that you're able to get the Kinder Joy. I'm working so that you're able to go to the school that you're very happy to being at. Therefore, and I don't even want to lie to you at this point. My child used to cry when I leave, but he literally only did it for like the first couple of months. And then after that, he looks forward to taking me with Umama or Umalume to the airport, as long as he just sees me ndihamba. And I really want to punt on the fact that abantwana bethu masingabazimeli. Doesn't matter where you're going, doesn't matter what, but sumzimela umntana, because that thing ihlala nayo umntana. Initially, I used to, at first, ndanimzimela andihambe okanye ndiphosise ndithi ndibheke edolophini ndizobuya. My child used to sit up the entire night because ulinda ukuthi ndibuye, because bendithe ndiye edolophini, kaloku edolophini kulapha kufiphi, and cause edolophini in the Cape Town. So that's when I started the strategy of preparing my child. Even when you do things like what I do with my child is we do like smiley faces, and I'm like, are you not a big boy? Are you gonna cry when mommy leaves? And then he's like, no. Am I gonna get a smiley face? Yes, I'm gonna get a smiley face. Like umntana is happy with ezo zinto, especially when they are that young, to a point that they start accepting ukuthi umama is leaving, but uzawuphinda abuye. And the reason umama is so far is because of ABNZ. We need to communicate to our kids. The way that nathi esifuna abazali bethu ba communicate nathi ngakhona, because we think sibadala, umntana as young as they are, sispanj, uyayazi what's going on, and therefore we need to lay it out for them to communicate into ukuthi ndizohamba ngoku, I'm going to be back ngexesha elithile. And with my child, as young as he is, next week uyamazi, next month uyamazi. So if I'm saying zobuya next week and probably I've lied, uzothi every day next week, because uyayazi ukuthi next week has gone and passed. So my opinion is that let's not hide from our kids when we're leaving. If you outshine them, then can you're a single parent. Let's not lie and say ndizobuya ngomso, because ngomso umntana uzolinda and you're not going to be there. We need to be frank. You need to prepare them. You need to get them to a point whereby they are comfortable with the fact that I'll call up, but they know which mama akho, and the reason I'm not here, it's because of A, B, and Z.
I think that's a mouthful. That's a mouthful. I'm just a bit sad that there's no one that is really interacting to our conversation right now. And I know there are a lot of young single parents, yabo, who would for them to their experiences or ask questions, yabo, so that sikwazi to help each other nurture the child, yabo. Nobody is a single parent now, but umntu akwazi ukuba umntanakhe amraise in a manner yoba angade afile okay, there's an absence of one part of a parent, yabo. So we don't have any questions yet, nalapha. But I think let me give you to carry on, and then as uqhubeka ke with the topic, probably kukhona umuntu okanye khona abantu who are going to interact, but it's fine wethu noba si-interact sobabini, they'll watch it later and it will help them anyway.
Yeah. Look, Nam, I'm quite. I honestly thought it would be a live where abantu would be there and then they would ask questions. Because remember, us having this conversation, and even when it is up there, like on it's uploaded, a person will ask questions and then so they're seeing to respond immediately. And being a single mom, it's not easy. Umntana urezwa ngabantu abaninji, umntana akarezwa nguwe wedwa as the parent. Why? Simply because you get advice from abantu abaninji, and besides even having to get la advice, you see abanye abantu abaninji ukuthi benza njani bona, in order for you now to take all of that so that uzokwazi ukukhulisa umntana wakho. I was raised by a single mom. She did amazingly well, because I think I'm amazing as well. But what I'm trying to say is, Uguti, she is a very strong woman. And now what I'm currently at the moment, and the way that I am at the moment, I take it from Yena, how she raised us, Tina, si mnane brother yam, how they were not soft at all, but we still made it to where we currently at the moment. And I always saying, and I'm trying to I accept his situation, but I accept it to a point where by a situation that I'm feeding, but I work all the way up to where I think utabe corner. And it would have been amazing to have questions, obviously, from Abantu on the live, but unfortunately, seeing that we don't have, we can just chat through the topic.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question, a bit controversial, ne? Parent, there is something that happened along the way. Yabo, one single parent, and as uke ubone, but it's mostly African people who grow up in, you know, if households isn't both parents most of the time and stuff. So I just wanted to, but probably in your opinion, mhlambe was born at that time, but okay, things are going well, you know, and sometimes after the baby, okay, things are going definitely wrong, yeah, and most of the times the other gender is blaming the other gender, the other gender is blaming the other gender. I don't know if in Savagal.
But it keeps on like hacking. So your question is, let me just check if in the ville. Are you asking, Wuti, what do I think is the reason why netukube kumdwana izinto zibekutshintsha kwi-relationship? Is that your question?
Yes. In most of the cases, emails is the blame emails. Yeah, bo. So mhlambi, in your honest opinion, not being biased.
No. In my look, I've always been accused of Wikisa team for the girls, because I'm always for the guys. Because I believe ukuthi Tina singabantu abangamantombazana, to a certain extent we get so difficult and so like like so independent to the point whereby the next person angakwazi ukuhlalelana naloo nto leyo. But in this case, honestly speaking, I think thina singabantu abamnyama siyakhawuleza ujumpa into stuff because kusemnandi ngelaa xesha. So you're in this relationship, you're feeling ukuthi you're living la vida loca, kumnandi. You quickly jump into this serious thing, you quickly jump into having this child. It's fine, now it's there. But the way that you guys were communicating before the child should be the way that you guys should be communicating during Lomdwana or whilst pregnant ngumntwana. And now we fail in the we and I know girls are going to attack me for this, but we hide behind the emotions of being pregnant. Yes, there are emotions of being pregnant, but you need to think emotions, because remember, like I said, we're not doing this for us, we're doing this for umntwana. And with that said, not to say that abafana nabo they don't have mistakes when obviously pregnancy, but also the myth, and also we hide behind the myth of every time there are people that don't.
Yeah.
How do they do it, Bona? They didn't do anything differently. They maybe just did not look or see and just went on to being the couple or the loving couple that they were. And even if there are things that they fought about or things that could have made them break up, but at the end of the day, they still kept the consistency. They're having to communicate, being there together. The problem, Tina, consistency. We were together living. If Anna Nobana when Yandisa akomdwana, we meet and we have a best relationship. The moment we get used to each other, is into the change. The inconsistency breaks the relationship. Therefore, that's why in the city, even when kukolumdana, the inconsistency iyaphula le relationship ngokuniphele ngokunika position whereby benihlele kamnandi kungekho umntana, no suddenly boyfriend or husband or girlfriend or wife uzokhompyutha nomntana. No, you love the child more, you spend the time more with umntana than you spend with me. Nothing needs to change. Yes, xa kukhona umntana izinto ezincinci zizotshintsha, but we need to communicate about izinto ezinjalo. I didn't just have a child and then I still stayed 3 years with my past partner before Sohlukane, and having a child was not the reason we broke up. We still carried on. We still carried on, and we parented and we stayed with the child together, and we lived la vida loca like we were living before, because the consistency was still there. So Tina, and you said something about because I believe the consistency is them. Tina, we jump into things and city says you realize but you don't say that I don't want to be there. You need to communicate communicate before, so that izinto zizomuva smoothly, either niyahlala ninobayi-2 or anihlali ninobayi-2. So now I feel like it's communication and consistency that eyenza into ukuthi either izinto zihlale okanye ziphuke zingasebenzi.
Yeah, no, I think that's true, because at the end of the day, when you met kungekabikho a third person. So the third person shouldn't be the reason, the relationship is ending. So because a deeper thing, Yeah.
Yes, 100%. I totally agree, and that's what I believe. Now, Wuti, the moment you're going to be with someone, African now, just because go pregnant, and then for 2 months, 3 months, African now, there was something beyond umdana. There was something, because there are people that actually plan to have a child with their partner, and then 2 months down the line, the inconsistency and the fact that we refuse to communicate about the feelings is it. I'm a strong believer in having to communicate about how I feel. I always say this with my friends, family, with whoever. You will always know how I feel. Because when you don't know how I feel, you assume ukuthi I feel the way indlela ethile. The moment you assume ukuthi uzama ufeel indlela ethile, you may get it wrong. And with that said, we're sitting in a position whereby I'm 30, you don't know how I feel, and then you're assuming and then you want to walk out because we never had this conversation. And I always say this, siya communicator. Same goes na xa kufunekile ilungisiwe okanye iphelile, let's speak about it so that sihlukane terms whereby we can still speak, because there's mama no tata who don't communicate today, who don't speak about anything today because of whatever that it is that got them to be where they're at. But I believe it can be from the father's side or from the mother's side. I cannot be on a ixesha whereby they gave themselves bathetha. I don't know if Dim or are you still there?
Yeah, no, I think I agree, Sisama. Nanku ushekazi Mthabo agreeing, actually saying what you're saying on faith, to say expectations are maybe a problem. Like they end up always resulting in single parenting. Yeah, so just mimicking what you're saying, learning a communication parity where you shouldn't expect uba umntu makakcingele, yabo, but you must let them know what you're thinking, and so that naye akwazi, to do things, okanye you are able to uba nobabini nenze izinto with indlela enicinga ngayo, not of expectations. Yeah. So coming okay,
no, I'm saying 100% because yes, sometimes when you expect too much from a person, you end up being disappointed when they do not do what you expect, and then that gets you to a point whereby it shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't be in a position whereby I'm expecting Uyandisa to act a certain way, but I'm not acting that certain way. So for me to have Uyandisa communicate to me, I have to communicate to Uyandisa. So that's where even I feel Uguti, once umntana afike, we expect Uguti, oh my God, now there's a child. Oh my gosh, izinto zizokonakala. Oh my gosh, we're not going to spend as much time as we used to. Oh my word, imali, this. Already, I believe, I don't know if it's just me, I believe in putting this out in the universe. So the moment you put negativity out in the universe, it's going to happen. So having to have, you sit down, now you have the child, you sit down and you say, we usually spend 7 days together, uninterrupted, but now there's a child. We both need to come to a consensus. There's going to be time whereby as a parent, because I'm drained. There's going to be a time whereby when as a partner or whatever. But let's not forget, before us three, there was us two. We used to have date night. Let's carry on with date night every now and again so that we don't lose the spark. Let's carry on, even if, Tina, what we used to do is we would, on the weekends away that we used to go to, we used to take our child with, and we would be happy And I think also having to because most males, especially African males, believe I wake up and I breastfeed, I wake up, I wash the child, but do something, help me. If I'm cooking, take the child. If I am, if I feel good in the and I'm drained, take the child, yeah. So all of those things, having to help each other within layer transition, it helps a lot within a relationship.
Yeah, so to say, I think this is one aspect of single parenting that we did not touch on. Yeah, to say, how do we then manage into your co-parenting? Because sometimes you get people who are responsible for umntwana mhlambi finance, but presence ufumaniseka uba it's lacking, and ufumaniseka uba now constantly you'll be fighting about, you know, you need to take her, no, but yebo, so things like that. Nento yoba ke mhlambi uba uyamthanda umntwana, yabo, umkhuthalele when it comes to being there physically, but when it comes to finances ubona uba it's like, no, yinto efanele yenziwe nguwe as the mom, since wena uhlala nomntwana, yabo. So how important is co-parenting, and what do you think would constitute of good co-parenting between as parents as umntwana, and nendlela yena umntwana ekubaluleke ngayo kuye? Because I remember from my experience lento ubuyitsho to say, if ngoku utata umntwana uzafona athi no, ndizokulanda Friday angafiki, yabo. Now I have to deal with the crying child olinde uba makazolanda and akalanda, yabo. So ubona uba kweli cala the father is like, no, but you know, like, it doesn't really matter, yabo. And ufumaniseka uba people really don't understand that into itshoyo emntwaneni really sticks, yabo.
It sticks.
Yeah.
So to talk about that is Umna, being the person that I am, I don't like conflict. I do not like disappointments. So the moment I became a single mother, I just did what I needed to do, and whatever that the next party had to do and they didn't do, it was just on them. The reason I'm saying this is because you then don't disappoint yourself and you don't disappoint the child. Expectations. I cannot force you to do what you have to do. It's your responsibility. That's my opinion. I will not spend more time having to force you to do what you know that you're supposed to be doing, and take away that time from being at peace and from being with my child at peace. So having to so for me, co-parenting is not it's not mostly bound on imali that the person takes out, but it's mostly about the time that the person takes to spend with umntana, and the communication between umna now. What we fail at, and I'm pointing at this mostly when it comes to men, once you break up with the mother of your child, you tend to fagger the next girlfriend that will either disrespect or respect the mother of umntana. You give them that mandate. So the moment I feel disrespected by your girlfriend, I am not going to communicate with you. I would rather ndizenzele, right? So which breaks the co-parenting bond. We can't co-parent if we can't speak. We need to speak, we need to understand each other, we need to be transparent with each other in order for us to be able to co-parent. I'm going back to this thing, Uguti, what we do now, we don't do for you and I. I'm sorry, for you and I, we do it for the child. The priority here is umntana, and whether we together or not, umntana needs to take priority. If you said on Friday, you're gonna come fetch the child, you would have known on Thursday or Wednesday, Uguti, at work, they've asked you to work overtime, so you can't fetch the child on Friday. Now, as a single mom, or rather as a mom, I can't be that difficult to a point whereby if it really does come up on Friday, they tell you go to Upangele, then I'm immediately shouting, unless it's something that is consistent, something that has been happening, that every Friday, you have this story, then you start now being irritated as the mother. But even that, you communicate with this person. Now I know most people communication is not easy, because what if the other person does not listen? Now I believe whatever I say to you, whether you don't take it into consideration now, but then I keep quiet from there. Umna, personally, I believe in Doguti, when it comes to co-parenting, let's not masinga involve boyfriend yam or involve girlfriend yako, because the corner episode khona. And say i-co-parent ayizokwazi ukwenzeka unless you know ukuthi your current relationship, and well, nina nobabini current relationships zenu ziyamenda as measure, and i-priority yazo is to grow lo mntwana. Because if aim ne goal partner yakho or partner yakhe is not to see umntana wenu akhula aphatheke kakuhle, then co-parenting is not going to work. And this is another thing, is that Tina, single mama, we're very protective of abantwana bethu. So the moment we feel, oh, ukuthi no man, umntanam akakho safe here, okanye this man is not paying too much attention to umntanam, we immediately go up into rails, singafuna ukuva, singafuna understand. But in all honesty, for me, co-parenting can only be strong okanye ikwazi ukwenzeka if niya communicator nomntu, and in that instant ucommunicator kwenu does not necessarily mean ukuthi funeke nivumelane at all times, but at least you need to have that sense of communication without having a third party interferisha and then izokumosha whatever it is that you guys are trying to build up ukukhulisa umntana.
Actually, a funny thing you say, uba like lento ye third party uyichoyo, ne? Because I feel like from my side, most of the times it's women, it's the baby mamas who always have a problem with the girlfriend yomntu wabo, your bigger daddy, yabo, and mhlawumbi uthi yena sefika with good intentions, but khona attitude. But again, I don't want us to debate on
No.
I know, but hey, that's a debate for another day. It needs a whole hour.
It will definitely be an entire debate, but it's also just based on experience in Nandizoj. It's based on experience, and it's also based on not necessarily what you've experienced as an individual, but what you know a friend or a sibling has experienced. But obviously it's besides the point at the moment. But merely what I was trying to put across is the fact that most of the time, before Uzi say third party within the co-parenting, rather uyibone ukuthi co-parenting yakho it's strong, and uyibone ukuthi your third party's aim and goal is to ukuncedisana nawe ukuthi nikhulise lo mntana, then you can start working your way into bringing the third party. So that was my well, that was my point based on le nto bendithetha nayo.
Oh, okay. No, I think we've come to the end of ixesha lethu, sis. And unfortunately, there are no questions on our Facebook page, but I'll give you some time to conclude, Yabo. And then after that, we'll take a prayer and then Sivali.
Okay. All right. So to wrap up everything based on the topic that we were talking about today, I just want to say, first of all, I understand Oguti, it's not easy being a single mom. And I understand Oguti, when you get to that point, you feel Oguti, I can do it all by myself. I don't need anyone, whatever, but always take note Oguti, you're not doing it for you. Go to born where you public, you can do it. But you're also doing it for the child. My mother did this and we ended for him, and I'm where I'm at because of my mom. So whatever help, and when I'm saying help, I mean genuine help that comes to you with raising your child, take it. Yes, think about it. Do you need it? Or if should you take it, is what will be the consequences? But take it. Let's not have abantu bazotini syndrome. I know I said this. Let's not have abantu bazotini syndrome and do what Uyandisa is doing just because Uyandisa yena ubone ngathi yamsebenzela and wena ingangakusebenzeli. Do what sits well with inhliziyo yakho, do well what sits well with ilento ipokote yakho, because just because Uyandisa ahlala lento a point doesn't mean now you must go hlala a point. Look at what you can afford, and again you're doing it for the child. Not as mothers, I think I didn't mention this and I actually wanted to make a point, which not as mothers we need to not forget about ourselves. If I am not happy, my child is not going to be happy. Let's not forget about self. Yeah. Do things for yourself, pamper yourself, take a break. You need a break, because if I know if I video call him every day, but if I don't, he can feel what is something is hurting me. So we need to take care of ourselves. We need to seek for assistance. We need to seek for help. Go to therapy. Just because you're going to therapy doesn't mean you're mentally ill. You're not mentally ill. People that don't go to therapy when they know what a problem, those are the mentally ill people. Where now you've just realized what you've got a problem, and therefore go on and seek for assistance. And yeah, I think that's about it. And when it comes to co-parenting, try with your person. Just because no guys doesn't mean million busy enemies. Just because no differences. And I always used to say, that was it differences party. The one thing that I said to both families, I said, okay, this is where it's at. It's about the child. Priority to let's all bring it back. So focus, say, how are we going to help this child akhule? And akhule izinto ezininzi zingatshintshi. If ebedla ngohlala nomama yakhe ahlala nomama yakhe, if ebedla ngohlala notata ahlala, izinto mazingatshintshi for umntana just because izinto for wena notata zitshintshile. Because umntana can pick that up. Umntana is a sponge. So yeah, that's about it that I've got to say today.
Thank you so much, Sasama, for being with us. And I think the last point of Valangayo is very important to say we parent differently. Yeah, so I also used to say, I always say now to my friends, but parenting just comes naturally. So you don't have to be copying because it not work for your situation. So I think that's a powerful one, and that's one thing that we need to uba siphule kule session. And nalento uyichoyo about abantu bazothini syndrome, that's a very huge killer to our society, and especially ubona nje say depression yande kangaka is because of social pressure. And you know, it's very important nyani to know where you at and to understand your situation ukuze ukwazi bawukhulisa umntana wakho ngendlela right. Sisama, thank you so much for this lovely topic. It has been a great evening being with you. So usincedile kakhulu sisi. Igama lami ke ndiyandivula. Thank you so much for being with us. To the people that were watching on our Facebook page, thank you so much. Sizovala ke ngoku with a short prayer and then we are out. Ndicela sivaleni amehlo. Dear Lord, thank you so much for today. Sibulela so much Thixo namandla onke for the wonderful topic that you have brought to us today. Sikwazile ke Thixo namandla onke ukuba sithethe ngayo, and we hope moya oyingcwele ukuthi it reaches and reaches and reaches the corners Thixo namandla onke kwezo ndawo fanele basifikelele kuye. We know ke Thixo namandla onke ukuthi everything that we do is never in vain if we're doing it in your word. Akwabufefe lika Yesu Kristu, uthando nobudlelwane bomoya oyingcwele bungaphumla kuthi sonke ngoku kude kube kunaphakade. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Bye. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Sure.